here we go. So we are going to use the Genius feature to create your first timeline. And now if you have your account set up and you're ready to go, please feel free to kind of side by side these screens and do it with me. I'm going to click select, and this is the page that is going to appear. So you're going to be able to enter in basic information about your client. So I'm going to use clients that I typically use, and you will see since I already added Markley to my Rolodex, she pops up and she's ready to go. Let's say for our groom though, that I have never worked with this groom. What I can do is I can start typing in his name, and then there's an add button. And then I could come in and I could say, msmith@yahoo.com. I don't even know if anyone uses Yahoo anymore. And we can add a fake phone number. You, of course, can add all the social and the address. For sake of time, though, I'm just going to add those and click save. But, of course, you all can go through and add each of them. Then we enter the timeline name. So I'm going to say Markley and Mark, which I didn't plan that. That's odd. Let's go pick a new groom. Let's pick Callahan. Here we go. There we go. I don't want to confuse you all this whole time. So Markley and Callahan, and we will say it's their ceremony and reception. Everyone labels these differently. Ask your company what they prefer. So as a team, are you all going to say, Markley and Callahan's wedding, ceremony, and reception? Are you just going to put their names? These are things that you all as a team will want to discuss together. Ceremony date, of course, we will pick a ceremony date. Let's pick April 9th. And then tradition, let's say this is a Catholic event. The ceremony time is going to be at 2 p.m., and it's going to be a 60-minute ceremony. It does say to put in minutes. It would confuse it if you put, 1 for 1 hour. And then we are going to put in the reception flow. So when you review these, you want to just pick the one that makes most sense for your event. Are you cutting the cake first, then doing first dance, then toast? Or are they being announced and you're going right into that first dance? So I'm going to do what my wedding had, and that was we actually were announced. We had the cake cutting. During dinner, we did toasts. Then we did the first dance, opened up that dance floor, and partied all night. So I know that's different for many other people, but it worked for us. So that's what I'm going to select. And then, is there a first look? Yes or no? For this, we're going to say no. The reason that you're filling all of this out in this flow is the system is so smart, it's a literal genius, that it is paying attention to when we said, the ceremony time is at 2 p.m. and there is not a first look, and then, that it's on this date. When we start adding our vendors in, the system is going to be paying attention to everything going on, and it's going to actually lay out the timeline for you so that everything is in its spot and we have time for each item. So I'm going to click next. I'll explain that further too as we go. When I click next, I now jump over to my venues and vendors. So what I can do here is I have worked with, these companies before, so they're already in my Rolodex. I'm going to say we're getting married at the Ridge at Modern Mountain, and the reception is actually just in their, venue hall, so Modern Mountain Estate. And it's the same as the page before. If the girls are getting ready at the Grand Hotel and that's not in here, we can add it in. You can come in and say Anne Lee, and we'll say Ailey at the grandhotel.com. Hopefully that's not a real email. You can say thegrandhotel.com. And like I said before, you can go through and fill it all in. But of course, I don't want to waste all your time, and I know you all are fully capable of doing this. So I'll click save, and there we go. The Grand Hotel has been added, and I will do that here as well. The Grand Hotel, Anne Lee. There we go. The system is so smart, so smart that it noticed that the ceremony to reception venues are not at the same place. So luckily, they're on the same property for this one. So let's just say it's going to take the guest, we'll say it's going to take about 10 minutes to get from point A to point B. Kind of a buffer there. And then the girls getting ready location in the ceremony, let's say that those are actually 30 minutes apart, and same for the guys. So this is helping the system know that when it creates that timeline for us, it has to have drive time and buffer time for us to get from place to place. Lastly, on this page, we have the ability to enter in all of our vendors. So I'm going to come in here. We'll do Cake & Co. again. And then let's do SoCal Catering. We will do DJ Justin. What you can do here, though, like the reason it's separated, I get asked this every once in a while, why is ceremony and cocktail music separated? We all have to remember that every event's different. So sometimes you have one DJ doing, the ceremony, the cocktail, and if I scroll down, the reception music. But we also have other events where we have, for the ceremony, there's a string quartet, and for the cocktail hour, it's in a different place. So just keep that in mind when you're wondering why things are laid out the way they are. For floral, let's go and add in Flowers Unlimited. This is a great example, and I'm just wanting to show you what you can and can't do. So let's say that we are not providing guest transportation. You can just leave it blank, and then your timeline, when it's generated, the system just won't add that to the timeline. This is a fun one, so buckle up. This is the hair and makeup options. So what happens here is I start typing in a name, and I'm going to click Trends Hair. We'll work with Krista. And the system has questions for us. So it wants to know, does the hairstylist have an assistant? Yes or no? Let's say yes. My brides typically need about 60 minutes. That's usually like a standard for me, but you would just put however many minutes you think they need or how many minutes the hairstylist wants. And then you can actually select how many girls are needing hair services as well. And I should say girls or guys, whoever needs hair services. And then how long are they going to need? I typically only allot about 30 minutes or where I am, I should say. So I'm going to use that as an example. But for you all, go based off what your hairstylist recommends. And then you can actually come in here and you could come in and just rename everyone to fit the bridesmaids. And I will do this on this one and then show you what it will look like if we don't include any when we do the makeup. So you fill all of that in, and the system's going to create a actual table where no one's double booked for you. Lighting company, let's act like we actually don't have that, so we're gonna leave it blank. And then makeup, I will go through this fairly quickly. I spelled that wrong. And we're gonna work with Krista again. And let's say for makeup, she also has a helper, or goodness, an assistant, and they need 60 minutes for the bride. And let's say, 6 girls needed hair, but 8 actually need makeup. Maybe 2 of them are already going to have their hair done. Then you can come in, select how long they need, and you could go and put in all of the girls' names. A question I get asked a lot is it box by box how it chooses? And it is not. The system actually goes based on the name. So if we went to fill this out and we started from the bottom and wrote them out, that would not be a problem. The system is smart enough to know just to make sure not to double book each girl. Let's do our priest. Let's see. I don't know if I have a priest in here. So we're just going to do this company called Official, and they're an officiant, so we'll just add them for sake of adding someone in. And then outdoor ceremony, we're not going to add that. For photographer, let's do the photo co. And the system wants to know how long is our photographer booked for. Like I was talking about on the previous page, the system is so smart that it wants to know if our photographer is only there for 10 hours and we are not doing a first look and the ceremony's at 2, but we have 8 girls that need makeup and 6 girls that need hair. It needs to figure out what time do we need to have that photographer arrive so that they get in all the formalities and can leave at an appropriate time. So that's why it asks that. And a lot of these inputs are important because, as you can hear, the system's doing all this thinking for you. So you want to make sure you create your timeline when you're ready and when you have this information. If for any reason you don't have the information when you start doing this, that is perfectly fine. You can always come over here to the save and exit option. This is going to save all of your work that you filled out in that pre-active folder that I talked about, the quote unquote drafts folder. So that is always an option. Now, when we get to this page, this is called the generate page, and basically what it wants you to do is just review and make sure you truly have entered everything correctly, so that when you come down here and click generate, you generate a timeline that has all of necessary and accurate information. Before we generate, I am going to show you in the next section how you can actually send these forms over to your clients. So hang tight and we will get to that.